Hi there, everyone. I wanted to do kind of a little bit of an update of my 2019 resolutions. I did this early, or actually, I did it late last year. I believe it was around December. I'm not sure. It's been a wild year. But I kind of wanted to go over what my resolutions were and what I hope to gain in 2020. Now, I just looked these over and I just found my old document on my tablet, and I'm I'm happy with some of them. I'm not so happy with others. The first resolution that I had was to write books 2 and 3 of my Reaper series. Now, I actually did complete book 2. It out in, I believe it was September. And I was quite happy. I finished it in about 8 months, which is incredibly fast for me. I didn't think that I was actually going to be able to complete an entire book with edits, with everything that I had to do with it, in less than a year. So it taught me a lot about what I needed to do and what needed to happen to make it publishable. As far as finishing book 3, because originally when I made this resolution, I thought that it would take me only about 6 months to do each book, which I was like, ha 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 ha, you're funny. But yeah, I am currently doing edits for book 3 right now, and since I kind of now have a time frame of how long it takes me realistically to write a book from beginning to end, 8 months is not that bad. I've heard some people who preach about fast release, getting a book out every 3 to 4 months, and I'm like, I cannot do that. I cannot write a book. I can write a book in 3 months. Whether or not it's any good is another question. As far as like book 3 goes, yeah, 3 months is not long enough to write a good book. But 8 months is good because that allows me to do a full first draft, a full month, 3 months of first draft, 1 month of edits, then 3 months of rewrite, then another month of edits, and then 1 month of publishing. So roughly about 8 months. So one upside to that is that I can now kind of guess about how long it will take me to finish my Reaper series. But also in that time, I have written the first draft of my Hunter X Slayer series. And I have started on the first draft of book 2. If you hear a little tinkling, it's our dog. Little baby. Say hi to you too, baby. He just is like, I'm just going to sit on your foot. But he's a cute little thing. But I'm happy with what I've got done and what I know that I can do. I don't plan to do any edits for the Hunter X Slayer series just yet. I wanted to get out as many first drafts as I can and then start doing edits. So we'll have to see what happens with that. The second one that I have is Set Up Hardback for Stand Up Fight Back, which this one I had to kind of laugh at because when I wrote this, it was when I was still first starting in BookTube and everything, and everybody is so obsessed with having hardbacks of all their books. And I'm like, I never have liked hardbacks. They're very bulky, they don't sit in bags very well, and this is just my personal preference. I feel like they take up way too much space. As you can see from my bookcase, I actually have very few hardcover books left. They're mostly paperback. And that's how I kind of like it. I like being able to bend a book if I need to. I don't like having to have it laid flat out so that it sits there. That, and I've looked into how much it costs to get a hardback done, and it is not cheap. And when I made this, it was also when I was still kind of grappling with what kind of writer I want to be. And I honestly thought that I was going to be well known for my Reaper series, when in reality, I don't want to be known as a YA writer. I want to be more known for being an adult writer or an adult thriller romance writer, something in that vein. And I didn't even realize when I wrote these resolutions that a lot of my writing does tend to lean more towards thrillers. But of course, romance within that. So it was quite interesting to have that realization. So more than likely that will... One, hardbacks won't be a thing, and once I finish my Reaper series, I probably will never do another YA, and I'll just stick with adult. The last writing one, honestly, this one is just so sad, was to finish season 2 of my zombie run kind of fan fiction that I was writing the year before. I have not touched it in a year. And this is so shameful because I wanted to finish up season 2 just so I could have that done and then not worry about it anymore. But with everything that I've been doing, it's hard for me to find the time to work on it. Because I really did burn myself out super hard on it. And that is all my fault. I should have... Well, it's actually what taught me what to look for my burnout. So, are you crawling? Are you crawling? You don't want to say hi? Say hi to YouTube? It's like, no. You've already asked me twice now, woman. But, this was just, it's kind of sad that I couldn't even get this part done. But again, I am happy with what I have gotten done over this year, and what I have planned for the following year. Now, I do have 3 kind of personal ones that I wanted to do, which one of them was to drink more water than soda, which unfortunately I did not do at all. And I've actually drinking more water recently with being sick, because soda just upset my stomach way too much. So, unfortunately, that did not end up happening. I'd like to try again at doing that, and making water a bigger priority in my life. Oh, now you want to crawl into my lap. See, this is what I have to deal with? I'm trying to film a video here, and you decide you want to crawl into my lap. BB? Say hi to YouTube. It's like, okay, I'll say hi. He's so cute. But, the next one I have is my Goodreads reading challenge, which I had set at 50 books. I tried really hard. I think I might have also burned myself out a little bit. I'm like the queen of burnout. I swear to God, I cannot do anything without burning myself out. But I did get, as of filming this, I've gotten 45 books done. I'm right in the middle of number 46. I got messages. Of number 46. And I've decided that since I've read so many books and that I don't like doing wrap-ups every month, because some months I just don't read any books, I've decided I'm going to spend the next year doing reviews of all the books that I've read during 2019, and that will kind of encompass all of the books that I have read, and then if I need more, I can just review the books that I've read during 2020. And then the last one was sort of just a kind of a pipe goal, which was to balance work, fun, and I believe it was balance home life, work life, love life, and personal health. I have learned to do that more over the last 6 or 7 months than I did over the course of the year, because I figured out a good rhythm for myself, um, and I'm starting to get better about not beating myself up when bad things happen. Case in point, end of October is when I started getting really sick. Um, and then all the way through November, um, I was dealing with bronchitis, and it wasn't until just recently that it started to go away a second time. So I'm hoping that it will be gone for good and that I can get back sort of to some kind of equilibrium. I'm starting to get back into that, which is why you see the laundry behind me. When I was sick, I did laundry just because my husband and I needed clothes, and they just literally sat in the baskets. All of this is from the last time I did laundry 2 weeks ago. They've literally been sitting in the baskets for 2 weeks, and that's not good. And it was just the fact that I was so drained physically from coughing, not being able to breathe. My sleeping was also messed up, so because I didn't sleep, I didn't have any energy for the day, and because I was coughing so much, I was also throwing up, and I was basically throwing up my food, so there goes my energy. It was a perfect storm of just not good energy levels and not being able to really do much of anything other than maybe just sit there and play on my phone. I barely had enough energy to do that. I got up as much as possible. And the days when I felt somewhat okay, I had obligations that I had to do to for my family, and it was rough. This last 2 weeks has been the roughest out of the entire time I've been sick, because this is when the bronchitis reemerged, and I literally could not do anything. And it's frustrating. If you've ever been sick, you know exactly how that feels. It's like there's so many things you want to do, but you just do not have the energy to. And it's frustrating. I actually had our 2 dogs hanging out with me a lot of the time because I was literally just sitting in bed because I couldn't give myself enough energy to even go get something to eat, because I knew that it was just going to come back up later. So that was probably the roughest bit. But now I think I can get back into the balance that I started to have, and make sure that I can find that balance again. But I'm hoping that 2020 is good, if not better, than 2019 was for me. The resolutions that I have for 2020 are similar, in a similar vein. For the writing ones, I want to finish up book 3 and book 4 in 2020 and have those completely edited, ready for publication, or at least close to ready for publication. Another writing goal that I have is that I want to have at minimum 5 of the Hunter X Slayer books in the first draft phase ready for edits before the end of next year. I don't think that's going to happen. That's a very big stretch goal. But considering that I'm not taking the time to actually edit it, I'm just drafting. I could easily see myself finishing up 5 drafts, no problem. But that's including the one that I got done now, and then the one that I'm working on now. I'm hoping to have those done. I'm not going to hold myself too strict to that one because, again, my Hunter x Slayer series is my side project, which I only work on during the weekends if I have time. Whereas with my Reaper series, I work on that one Monday through Thursday. So that one is my main focus. And I would like to have at least... I would like to have more outlines done for the rest of the Reaper series by the end of next year. That way I kind of know where I'm going for the last 3 books. Because I kind of have an idea of where I'm going for at least the last book, but books 5 and 6 are ones that I know very little about. And I don't know exactly what to do with them. But again, that's like way down the line. I just barely have book 1, book 3. I'm almost done with edits. It's been kind of a slog because I made the unfortunate choice to do Nano, and I think that's kind of what sent me into a little bit of a depressive spiral, which is what led to the depressive spiral that is book 3. So I've got to fix that. That's my biggest priority right now, is fixing book 3. And getting that all finished up by March. I think it was March. Yeah. Because April is the editing month. But my other writing goal is that I want to maybe outline a couple of side, not really like 100% outline, but at least have something. I know I have a space opera I'm kind of thinking of doing, a fantasy one I thought of, and there's just a lot of side projects that I'd really like to do, but I'm not gonna hold myself too accountable to them because that's like far off distance kind of thing. As far as personal goes, I do want to try setting my reading count again at 50 books. But unlike last year, I'm not going to hold myself so stringently to it, because I think that's where my burnout kind of came from. I do have a lot of books on my Audible app. I have so many ebooks that I've gotten over this year because I joined several Facebook groups of various authors that I've found, and I love their books, and they have recommended so many good ones for me. And I found a lot of the books that I read this year are because of this group. These groups, and I'm so happy to be a part of them, and I'm so happy that they included me into it. But I would like to read a lot of the stuff that I already have instead of just going through the Audible Escape and finding new stuff to read. I have a bunch on my phone that I need to read. And a lot of things that I wanted to reread to help me out of a slump that I was dealing with. But what ended up getting me out of the slump was actually reading a different book. But that's kind of what I hope for the reading challenge. Personally, I would like to start an exercise regimen for next year because my husband and I are very fluffy. And we would just like to feel better about ourselves. I've always been heavy, and so is he. He's always been bigger than normal, than the average guy. And as I'm entering my 30s, and he's already in his 30s, it's better if we try now to get into better shape, because who doesn't want to be in better shape? And a book that I read by one of my favorite authors, N.R. Walker, called The Weight of It All. One of the things that they said in the book is that Don't focus solely on the numbers because you'll drive yourself crazy. Focus on how your clothes fit and how you feel. And that really hit home for me because I have always focused so solely on those numbers. And it makes sense that it's like you won't see improvement in the numbers for a long time, but you'll see a faster return on your investment in your clothes, in how you feel, and I want to feel better. And I've already made a promise to my husband that we're going to try to just get better for each other, and feel better about ourselves. So I'm hoping that I can look back on this and know that things have changed for the better for that. And I can continue to find that work-life balance and for my own personal health. Because life is just way too short to be running around in the same circle over and over and over again. So I'm already sitting at 21 minutes, so I better cut this now. All right. Say goodbye to YouTube, baby. Bye. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.